Break the Board Sports. It's your boy RJ Cash. Go click that like, hit subscribe. Here we go on the hardwood March Madness. And Cinderella in years past has always been number 12. They've always been the ones with the glass slipper. Past few years, not as much. But you wonder, is this the year where the 12s hop back in against the 5s and break up people's brackets? Again, click that like, hit subscribe. Go to breaktheboardsports.com. Every play for March Madness through the national championship game, along with NBA, NHL, and at this point, probably about the first 3 weeks of baseball, 30 days, $64.99. If we're not over 500 and up a minimum 7 units, you get the next 3 months of every play for free. That'll take you through the NBA Finals, NHL Finals, as well as baseball to the All-Star break. So let's get into these 5-12s. And the first one, High Point against Wisconsin. Now, Wisconsin, this line's dropped a little bit, went back up, kind of moved around a lot here. 9.5 is where we set. There's a few 10s out there. You got to look mostly offshore. 164.5 is the total. Now, 57% of the ticket count, 80% of the handle going over, 43% ticket count, 20% of the handle going under 164.5. Now, ticket count 50-50, money 65%, High Point, 35% of the money going to Wisconsin here, the Badgers. Now, the Badgers got really hot down the stretch here in the Big Ten tournament. This is a team back half of the year played really, really solid. But let me tell you something. This High Point team can play. They are no joke. 30-4 are the High Point Panthers, 50-16 ATS. Now the Badgers 24-10. Again, this line kind of been all over the place from 10, 10.5, 9.5. You just really got to shop around, get the best line possible because you can go over some places. You can get Caesars has them 10.5. FanDuel has them 10.5. There's a 9.5 at DraftKings. So again, the line's just kind of all over the place. But High Point is one of my favorite teams in the tournament. They have the third best scoring offense in the country, 91.1 points per game. Wisconsin averaging 83.1. High Point gives up 70.3. Wisconsin gives up 75.8. I think this is a bad matchup for Wisconsin. It's not your old Bo Ryan punch you in the mouth defense. This Wisconsin team can score the basketball, but they're less than to be desired for on the offensive end, and that plays right into the hands of a High Point team that can shoot the lights out. 35.4 from three-point land. They attempt about 26 threes a game. If they're hitting, then they're just on fire there. And that's going to be a huge, huge thing to look at as this game goes on. Also, High Point does a really good job of taking care of the basketball, right? So this is a game, Wisconsin, they're not going to be intimidated by them. Wisconsin's not going to be able to shake them up and get them all in a tiff, so to speak. Also, their turnovers, High Point ranks 7th in the country offensively in turnovers. They do just a phenomenal job of taking care of the basketball. And defensively, they are the 5th best in this tournament at creating turnovers. So, again, this is a team that is really dangerous. Wisconsin's really got to be on their heels here. This is a team that can cause them just a ton of problems. High Point, they are just 1-4 ATS their last 5, but they have won 10 straight games despite losing 10 straight to the Big Ten. But here's the other thing: as a dog, High Point 11-2-2 against the spread. Now, again, Wisconsin straight up in the role, the favorite 12-2. And in their last 6 games, if you take out that Big Ten tournament game against Michigan, Wisconsin 5-1, both straight up in ATS. But listen, I've said this since the bracket came out. I got High Point. I think you should sprinkle a little money line here on the High Point Panthers, but 10.5, man, you got to take that and run to the bank. I just really like this team. I like what they have to offer. And again, I think they're live to pull the upset, but I definitely think they're live here to cover 10.5. So High Point is the way that I will be rocking and rolling for sure. Next game on the board, let's get into McNeese State here. And McNeese playing Vanderbilt as the 5 seed. The Vanderbilt Commodores here had a nice run in their tournament. Now, McNeese State 28-5, Vanderbilt 26-8. Now, this line opened 11.5. It's pretty much stayed 11.5. McNeese averaging 80.9 points per game. Vanderbilt, 12th best scoring offense in the country, 87.2. McNeese has the 21st best scoring defense, so 66.4 is where Vandy gives up 73.7. Now, the problem is McNeese has not seen a team like this Vanderbilt's team. Tyler Nichols, he can fill it up from the perimeter. Vanderbilt's got some dogs. Tough team here. Though they lost in the SEC championship game, I think they are going to create a lot of problems for McNeese. Now, McNeese has won 10 straight, but they've lost 6 straight to SEC opponents. Vanderbilt, on the other hand, 10 straight wins versus the Southland Conference. Now, when Vanderbilt's in the role of the favorite, they've struggled a little bit. ATS 1-4 against the spread. I think ultimately, if you're looking to bet this game, the first thing you got to look at is, can McNeese State get this thing done in the first half? I think first half is going to be where you can kind of get the best bang for the buck, so to speak, because I think, again, Vanderbilt, as time goes on, is going to impose their will in this game. I would be very surprised if McNeese is able, where I like High Point, I don't like McNeese as much. So, again, I think if you like McNeese, you got to like them for the first half and kind of ride that out. Now, over their last 25 games, McNeese 22-3. First half, though, in the first half, McNeese 13-2, their last 15 games. First half money line. You can get them on the first half money line right now, plus 285. They've covered this first half spread 7 of their last 8. For the first half, you can get them 6.5. I think McNeese first half, I can get down with that. The game, I just really want no parts of. I don't think as time goes on, I just think Vanderbilt's going to impose their will. Next game on the board, click that like, hit subscribe here in the 5-12 matchup. We're going to go over to Friday. Akron, second game to go off against Texas Tech. Now, Texas Tech, really a shame they don't have Toppin. I thought they were a national championship contender. They're still a really good team, but they got no shot at a national title without Toppin. 7.5 is the spread. 156.5 is the total. Now, the total 50-50 is the ticket count. Handle 63% under, 37% over. Now, when you're looking at Texas Tech laying the 7.5, 31% of the ticket count, 11% of the handle. Akron, 69% ticket count, 89% of the handle, going to the way of the Zips here from Akron. Now, listen, Akron, 29-5, 17-5 against the spread on the year. Texas Tech Red Raiders, 22-10, 16-16 ATS on the season. Now, listen, the Akron Zips, this team can fill it up. Texas Tech going to have their hands full here. This line opened 8.5. It's 7.5. Now, there is an 8 over at Caesars, juiced a little bit. Akron has the 8th best scoring offense in the country, 89.4 points per game, as to where Texas, 82.1. Akron gives up 74.5. Texas Tech gives up 72.3. Now, if you look on the road, Akron 9-3 this year on the road. Texas Tech 5-5. Neutral site games, Texas Tech 3-3. Akron 5-2. Now, again, there's a disparity in the type of competition play, but Akron is tough, man. They can fill it up. 4-2 ATS their last 6. They've won 10 straight. Now, in the past, the Big 12, they've lost 5 straight to them. And Akron, when they're in the role of the dog, has not been as good to bettors. They're just 4-8 ATS over their last 12. But Texas Tech 1-4 ATS their last 5. But 15-5 straight up in the role of the favorite. Listen, I think if you want to, if you're doing a 2-team money line parlay, Texas Tech is a good lean here. But I think at the end of the day, Akron, if you can get 8 with Akron, I think that's the way you got to side. This team can fill it up. I think they're going to be in this all the way to the end. Next game on the board again. Click that like, go hit subscribe, go to breaktheboardsports.com to follow us through March Madness for $64.99. Number 12, Northern Iowa versus St. John's. The Johnnies, number 5, do not like their draw. I think they got screwed, but hey, the NCAA has been screwing Rick Pitino his whole career. 131.5 is the total. 59% of the ticket count, 58% of the handle. Going over, 41% ticket count, 42% of the handle to the under. St. John's, 64% ticket count, 53% of the handle going their way. Northern Iowa, 36% of ticket count, 47% of the handle going their way. Now, Northern Iowa, 23-12, 20-14 ATS. The St. John's Red Storm, the Fighting Patinos, 28-6, 20-14 ATS. Again, this line is setting at 10.5 for this game. Now, Northern Iowa here, 69.1 points per game. St. John's, 32nd best offense, 83.9. So this one already off the bat is in trouble. But St. John's gives up 71.3 as to where Northern Iowa has the number one scoring defense in the country. 61.1 points per game is what they give up. And I fully expect those St. John's athleticism and their speed is going to create problems for Northern Iowa. I also believe defense travels. Now, Northern Iowa 5-1 in neutral site. St. John's 4-3. St. John's 9-1 on the road. Northern Iowa 6-6. Now, Northern Iowa is won 5 straight. They're 4-1 ATS their last 5, but they're 1-6 ATS their last 7 on the road. As to where the Johnnies, their last 6 games, they've won all 6, beat the snot out of UConn in the Big East Championship game. St. John's in the role of the favorite. When St. John's is favored, they have won 17 straight games. They've been also impressive, winning 17 straight. This is a team that can make a really, really deep run. I think if they make a deep run and they face a team like Duke, St. John's is going to give them a lot of problems, like a lot of problems. I don't think that's a slam dunk for Duke by no stretch of the imagination. When I look at it again, I think Northern Iowa, you got to look at them first half. Again, a lot of these dogs, like I love High Point. Love High Point. McNeese, I think you got to look at them first half. Akron, I like for the game. Northern Iowa, probably got to look first half because this is a game that can very easily get away here. And I think St. John's could be driving in the driver's seat, really pushing this thing as we come down the stretch. And so really just got to be really careful, kind of stay away there from this one. Now, St. John's team total may look to the under on that. Again, I think there's a couple different ways you can kind of poke around and monetize the game. But again, I like Northern Iowa for the first half to keep this close. I think their defense travels. I think they're able to kind of punch St. John's in the mouth early, at least keep this thing close till the game weighs on, gets later. Now, one thing I do like a 3-team money line parlay involving St. John's. 3-team money line parlay in the tournament. It's -122. You got Vanderbilt, St. John's, and throw UCLA in there. I think UCLA is able to handle Central Florida. RJ Cash Cole, Break the Board Sports, giving you stats, trends, and information to help you with your handicap. Whether you fade or follow, hope you win your bets. God bless and happy handicapping.